Find out from Brent May how to start a business and discover what life is like in Huatulco, Mexico, in this video interview with expats in Mexico. And why Huatulco? What was it that really attracted you to Huatulco?
Well, there's basically, a handful of things that I feel separate Huatulco from other sun destinations. It's a fauna tour zone. I'm sure you know what that means. I'll just say fauna tour is a, arm of the federal government. They develop infrastructure in Mexico. So
Planned development.
Yeah, planned development. So the first thing you notice when you come into Huatulco is how clean it is. There's nice painted white curbs on the streets. It's very manicured. The medians that line the streets with palm trees and all the grass is manicured. They're constantly cleaning. So that was very appealing, the cleanliness. Being a small town guy, I liked the city life in my 20s and 30s, but I was finding I was starting to regress a little bit again. So definitely the smaller town feeling was very appealing. The infrastructure here is amazing. There's 2 marinas, the roadways. So I started investigating that more and realized what Fauna Tour was and that they have an environmental commitment here. So they've actually won, well, that's why it's so clean. Okay, it makes sense. But they won 4 environmental awards, Green Globe Award, Earth Check, now Platinum Earth Check, Blue Flag certification, and Clean Beach Awards. So, the cleanliness is important, the environmentalism. I loved everywhere in Mexico, but there's definitely some areas you can see that they don't have sewage treatment. And I found out they had that, and that rang a bell right there. That alone, knowing they do not dump raw sewage into the ocean made a big difference. And then learning more about the master plan. It's a low density master plan area. So again, I'm not going to have all these skyscrapers flooding them, mass amounts of people, down onto the beaches and stuff. So I like that, okay. And looking at it, there's room for growth, but it's not going to turn into another Cancun. So that again hit. And then the other big thing, the weather. I should have probably started with that, but I'm a heat lover. I've always loved it hot, and it's 30 degrees Celsius or 89 degrees Fahrenheit every day. It does not change. It's the most consistent, hot, sunny weather you can have anywhere in Mexico. We're only 15 degrees above the equator here, so it doesn't change all year. It's just, they say average daily temperature of 28 Celsius or 86 Fahrenheit, but I'm sure they're taking that on the 24-hour clock because it's definitely 30 degrees every day, by 11 a.m. or whatever, and which again is I think 89 Fahrenheit. And low risk hurricane zone, doesn't rain the entire winter, so there's blue sunny skies, 340 days of sun. So it just for me was the ideal climate. And
what is your business?
I'm in real estate. So what I started out was a brand called Own Mexico, and owning a little bitty piece of Mexico, more maybe politely saying, but the essence of it was to write blogs, videos, help foreigners, retirees with the frustrations they had about coming to Mexico. So it's mostly an information-based site, nurture marketing site. So that's kind of our lifestyle marketing website. But then we have a brokerage in town called Bayside Real Estate Huatulco. So that's our firm where we have private listings and vacation rentals and property management. So it's all about the sales, really. Everything else just supports the sales, but you got to do vacation rentals to, show your investor buyers that they can get some returns and maybe allow them to come, a buyer to come try out a development beforehand as a rental first. So, and then property management, well, I'm getting back into the construction days there. So not really a business you want to be in, but if you want to give good service on your vacation rentals, you have to control the property management.
Absolutely. So was it difficult to set up your business?
It wasn't. No. I got a lawyer right away. We found it very straightforward to set up our business. We, followed our lawyer's recommendations. She really took care of the work. So, and as far as then going to this next phase of being accepted in the community, I felt very welcomed. I guess initially, especially by developers, because they saw I had a knack for selling, and so that definitely was warm. But then later, we do a lot of community events and outreach, charity fundraising. So it's been amazing, really. So
Who's your typical customer?
my typical customer is probably a minimum of 45 years old. Typically, they're around 55. Most our customers aren't quite retired yet. They're looking a little bit at investment, and they're buying 5 to 10 years before they retire. So majority foreigners. I was definitely a Canadiense realtor for my first part. I'm still to this day not strong in Spanish, embarrassingly enough, but I'm just not a language guy. I'm a math science brain guy, and we're trying. It's hard for me, and so that would limit me with the foreign market. So we're definitely foreigners. Being I was from Alberta, to really pigeonhole it, we were very strong with just Albertans buying, and Huatulco is one of these unique places in the world where we actually outnumber the Americans. There's more Canadians down here than Americans.
Is that
And
right?
yeah, it's really, really bizarre almost, because I don't know anywhere else like this. But we, when I started, and this is a really interesting part on the investment side, there was only 7 direct flights a week from Canada. Now, 8 years later, we have 26 direct flights a week from Canada. So big increase. The States, you guys still only have 1, 2, I think 6 direct flights to Huatulco from U.S. cities.
Is that a
So
major international airport in Huatulco?
it's an international airport. Yeah, they just expanded the runway so we can actually now accept flights from Europe. If the jumbo jets, normally they'd have to, the smaller jets that could land here, they'd have to fuel up in Cancun. But now our runway is longer and we can accept them from Europe. We just did a multi-million-dollar airport expansion here in Huatulco 2 years ago. So, which is kind of funny because people fly in and it's still the cutest little airport you ever did see, but they can accept more flights at a time, more people can leave. So it's nice there. And
How large of a city is Huatulco?
it's small. It's still very small. I would estimate about maybe 20,000 people, maybe 25 during the winter. It's
Is that mainly
you know,
snowbirds that expands the population during the winter?
mainly snowbirds. Yeah, we do have a growing expat community, but it's small, and it's pretty international though. It's not just Canadians, Americans. There's definitely Germans and Brits and Italians and South America. So it's a pretty diverse area that way.
What's
But yeah,
the infrastructure like there? Good hospitals and internet
infrastructure.
service and television and all those things?
Yeah, infrastructure is really good. There's room for improvement as far as actual brick and mortar style. It's excellent. We got great roadways, 2 marinas, that sort of thing. We do have 2 hospitals, so that's good. One's a Navy hospital and one's a public. But I will admit there could be some room for improvement there. Um, we just actually had the governor of Oaxaca announce that in combination with, ironically, a Canadian investment firm, they're going to be building a new state-of-the-art hospital here in Huatulco. So we're definitely very excited for that to happen, because I feel like that's maybe the one slightly missing link. Like, we do have a hospital here, but if you had to have open heart surgery, you would need to be airlifted into Mexico City, which we do have that service, but I look forward to seeing our health options improve. But like you already know, I mean, I go to, not that you know this, but just the cost is so amazing. I get acupuncture for 300 pesos, which is whatever, 17 US dollars for an hour with cupping. I do that once a week. I get a 90-minute massage for 600 pesos, so $45, and it's the best massage therapist in town. And I do that weekly, just, it's my little treat to myself. And
That probably includes a tip.
yeah, that's right. And, doctor's visits are inexpensive. So we have all that, good medical doctors, good surgeon here, good holistic doctors, there's all that as well. So yeah, it's good. But we're growing, so there's definitely room for more. Yeah.
If you need to go to a large city, is Oaxaca the closest city?
Oaxaca's the closest, nicest city. I mean, Puerto Escondido is about a 90-minute drive to the west, and it's a city of probably maybe 80,000 as an estimate. I might want to check that stat, but I think it's about 80. So they have a newer hospital there. They have two. To the east is a port town called Salina Cruz, but it does provide more stuff, like there's a Liverpool there, there's a Sam's Club. Because the roads are a bit flatter over there, I think it's easier to get the trucks in. And the really critically important thing to know about Salina Cruz is it was just named a new special economic zone in the world. In Mexico especially, of course, but in the world. So free trade is opening up there for wind energy, solar energy, mining, oil, since Mexico deregulated their energy industry. So we do believe we're going to get some spillover, because I think most people probably wouldn't want to raise a family in Salina Cruz and would prefer to commute to Huatulco. So the other thing I'll just add on that is, on the infrastructure side, we're getting a brand new superhighway that's going to come from Oaxaca City down to the coast, and from Puerto Escondido over to Huatulco. The estimates are it's going to cut down about a 6.5-hour drive down to about 2.5 to 3 hours.
So you're renting a place there now?
So we rent right now, but we did just invest last year into a pre-construction, so we're just waiting it to be completed.
I see. What does your house look like? How big is it, and how many bedrooms and all that?
We're about 1,800 square feet. It's a condo. I'm definitely a condo living kind of guy. I'm on the go, and I don't want to cut the grass or anything. I'm sure, I guess in a house you'd probably get someone to help you with some of that yard work anyway, but I like the lifestyle of a condo, lock and go. When we do want to travel, we have that flexibility. We live right in front of a very desired beach called Arrecife, and the development's called Cosmo Residences. We're in kind of a little boutique section of Cosmo that's a little separate development called 11 by Cosmo. So we got a 60-meter long pool with a waterfall in the middle of it.
Nice.
I walk out the front of my development. I got about 20 steps to a oceanfront restaurant, a pretty high-end restaurant, and then I take another 20 steps and I can drop my paddleboard into the bay and go paddleboarding in a nice calm bay. So.
You've got the life. How engaged are you with the local expat community? I'm assuming quite a bit, since that's your business. I mean, they're your audience.
Yeah, we're very engaged. We support. There's lots of social activities, I guess, going on, and a lot of them are related to charity and giving back in different ways. So we're, definitely trying to be a leader in that way, and then support in other ways. So you get involved with a lot of people that way, and also, as you said, we almost need to be. There's a little bit of a level of expectation that comes along. We basically are showing these people a new way of life, or not a new way, but a new life completely from what they're living at. Here's this new town. Here's how you get along here. Here's the grocery store. Here's where you can go see some live music. But then they expect you to kind of help them along the way. So there's actually a little bit of pressure there from myself and our agents. It's a nice pressure, don't get me wrong, but and it's not a hard job going out having a few beers every now and again. So.
Oh, sure, sounds good.
Yeah, cost of living's great. Much more affordable than Canada and the U.S. I mean, we got big grocery stores here, big boxy stores, and if you want to go in and buy Grey Goose vodka or Canadian American products, you're of course going to pay the same price as back home. But it's when you shop local, you go to the local produce markets and buy your fruits and vegetables. Go buy your fish from the person we call the fishmonger. Even the beef was the biggest surprise to me, and I was so happy to see I could get great quality of beef. So you can buy freshly cut beef off the butcher, and all great prices. Of course, the seafood. You go out to Huatulco is a resort town, so I'm not going to say it's expensive. It's lower cost, but you go out just a little bit off the beaten path, and it gets even less expensive in the restaurants and such. So. And that's a lot of fun exploring. I lived out there, so I know that a lot of these areas like the back of my hand. But you can go out to little places where they'll grab fresh lobster or oysters, and a big plate of oysters is like $6 for the whole plate.
So, Brent, what advice would you give to someone thinking about becoming an expat down there?
Um, it's definitely good to come try out a place first, and I recommend getting out of the hotels, do a vacation rental so you can really experience what it's like to live there, not what it's like to hotel there, not what it's like to all-inclusive resort there. Get out there, go to the grocery store. There's going to be things that be different. The chicken's a different color here. Um, it's yellow, and I'm told it's because they feed them marigolds. But we're used to our white chicken back home, and there's just little things you kind of got to get used to, and you won't do that from an all-inclusive resort. The food is absolutely amazing, and that's one thing. And again, from getting out of an all-inclusive resort, you go into these little restaurants. There's 6, 7 table restaurants, and either the owner's the head chef or the head maitre d', and it might sound a bit cheesy, but these plates come out made with love, and they're so tasty. And or you can go up to the food trough at the all-inclusive and eat out of the buffet, and it's like, I know which way I went.
What a difference, huh?
Yeah. So, and just everything else, going out and experiencing some live music in a little bar or whatever. You learn how it is to truly live there. So that's a big thing. But get out onto websites like Expats in Mexico, like my website in Mexico. There's tons of great information out there, and research and do your due diligence. I also offer a webinar that's called the How to Buy Property in Mexico webinar, and I recommend anybody thinking about investing listens to that, because there's differences in the buying process than in Canada and the U.S., and it's not impossible. It's very easy, but there's differences to be aware of. So that'd be another tip for sure. But I also like to tell people, come down and touch it and feel it. All of my clients I recognize go through what I call a self-realization process. You can look at as many pictures and videos on your computer screen, but it's not going to tell you the whole story. You can ask all the questions about condo fees and all this stuff. We get very analytical people asking us all these questions, but until you come down and view the neighborhood, see what the neighbors are like, the nearest beach, can you handle the heat? You won't really know whether that development's for you or not. So come down and touch it and feel it and experience it. And
Great advice, yeah. Brent. Yeah. Hey, listen, thank you so much. We really enjoyed our conversation with you today.
Yeah.
You look like a happy man.
Hey, I got no complaints. I definitely loving life down here in Huatulco, Mexico.